my favorite things about this space was the inspiration. So they had their driveway that was made out of gravel, and for the longest time, he's out there blowing gravel off of the driveway, and every time he blows that gravel off the driveway, it goes in the woods. So that was the initial inspiration for actually putting this driveway in and putting it in as a solid surface. So they had gone to our paver supplier, Yorktown Materials, to look for pavers that they wanted for the driveway. We had an initial phone call, and in that phone call, I shared with them that they were probably looking at an over six-figure driveway if they did it all in pavers. So we started to digest those numbers and what it looks like to actually have an over $100,000 paver driveway. One of the things that we came up with was, what if we incorporated a little bit of concrete into this paver driveway and used the concrete to get from the front to the middle part of the yard, so that those pavers really had something that was interesting where it mattered, not just all pavers just to have it all pavers. So what you see behind me right here is a stair step that's going up into this house. Some old concrete right here, and they are having issues with this kind of settling and going back towards the house.
I can't hear you!
So you'll notice that we have those pavers at the apron, so it kind of lets you know, like, hey, I'm walking into this space, the pavers are important. That's really what matters when you kind of see it from the road, because you're not typically, in this particular driveway, you're not typically looking from the road all the way to the house and watching the driveway all along. Usually that first few feet make an impression, and then the last bit of territory in the front yard make an impression. So we kind of skipped over the middle area that you might have gotten an impression and made that concrete. It is a nasty day out here. It is raining. It has been raining all day, but I could not wait to show you guys what this driveway looks like and what we put together for this homeowner. Right here is the apron. This apron comes right off the asphalt. We used pavers, but it also has concrete and 57 underneath of it. This is a reinforced VDOT approved apron, and it's built so that as you drive off the road and you kind of enter this space, it takes the impact and takes the load, and it looks good for years and years to come. Pavers generally cost $25 to $35 a square foot. Concrete generally costs $8 to $10, maybe as much as $12 a square foot. What we want to do is, as you got closer to the house, we wanted to make sure that there was still an impact and kind of the feeling of pavers. And that's where we switched it all around. As you come down the whole length of this driveway, we switched to a multi-tiered kind of pavers. So you see right here, we've got the Eva pavers, and these kind of make up the main drive area. So these Eva pavers kind of fill in here. You see we've got a Bellagio border, the concrete kind of continues. And then I did like a little curb wall right here just to add that kind of architectural flair. Now the whole idea is, as you kind of come down this driveway and you kind of enter this space, is that this whole curve is to kind of like pull you right towards the front door. Because in some cases like this, the front door is not directly in front of you as you come down the driveway. So we wanted to make sure that it was very evident, very clear, exactly where you're supposed to go as you approach this house. And if we didn't have this in here, I think people would end up coming, and they did say for years, people kind of come here, like park right in the middle of the driveway. They're not sure exactly where to go. Well, in this case, that kind of pulls you right to there. You see our curves kind of leading you around. You see this wall structure with the lower one here and then the higher one there. And then our stairs that kind of curve and offer that. And then we switch back out to concrete right here. I think that all these different textures in a lot of cases could look too busy. In this case, it doesn't look busy. It actually kind of flows and just makes this whole space really come together. I'm really happy with this lower wall, how it intersects with that upper wall. And then these stairs are one of the things that I'm really, really happy with how they turned out. So we wanted to have a kind of like a longer extension. So you can see how these stairs kind of come all the way to the end here and then get shorter. And then we have this paver landing right here, and we continued that paver wall over onto this side right here. Just a really, really clean and cool look. One of the things that we ran into is this whole area was sloping back to this point right here where I'm pointing right now. A lot of water was pooling up in the original design of this old concrete, like I don't know from when, maybe the 50s or so. That concrete, well, it actually wasn't 50. I don't know when it was from, but it was a long time ago. That concrete was broken up and was feeding all this water back up towards the house. Right there was a puddle, and he had a bunch of drains along here to kind of get that water out, and then he had it plumbed out over to the other side of the yard. Well, as we were kind of looking at it, we were a little concerned that the elevation of the garage, the elevation of where the steps need to be, and then the slope to the exterior yard were all really, really tight. There wasn't enough for us to put a perfect fall and get that 1 inch per every 10 feet, which is what we usually shoot for. There wasn't enough space for us to actually do that. So what we ended up having to do is this concrete slopes ever so slightly towards me right here. These pavers slope towards me as well, but I made every bit of this Villaggio paver right here permeable. So what that means is we've got a larger base underneath here. We've got our 57 gravel underneath here. We've got our permeable grout, which is the nitro sand, which allows water to go through it, but doesn't allow sediment to go through it. So all that water that's kind of sheeting through here, it just kind of solved a little bit of our dilemma. So now we didn't have to go way up on the house side. We were able to kind of keep things like right in that 1/2 inch drop throughout the entire space. You look at this paver right here, you don't see any puddling on top of these pavers right now. And so that's the advantage of having a permeable paver like this with the nitro sand filling in the gaps. By doing that, we ended up being able to save them a fair amount of money. And then what we were also able to do is take some of that money and make it very, very interesting at the entrance. Still was under 6 figures, but they have a really, really unique entrance and something that kind of fit the space and fit how they wanted to have the yard look and feel, because their house has some architectural elements to it. So they really wanted to play off of that with the driveway. So you see how we have these walls intersecting with different levels, different colors, different materials. At the end of the day, saving for a rainy day is just that. Just like today, it's raining again. It seemed like every time I was there on site, it was raining or something was going on. Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm really just holding this mannequin to make an awesome outro for this video. As always, like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. Get outside, my friends.